Hello, I'm John Kenny and welcome to round one of the Clonakilty Black Pudding Irish Tarmac Rally Championship, the Corraboyle Galway International, the first of 6 rounds to be contested this season. After the tremendous battle between Keith Cronin and Alistair Fisher that went down to the wire last year, 2017 promises to be every bit as exciting. Despite reigning champion Cronin moving on to new challenges, there's even more contenders joining the reinvigorated series, which once again kicks off in Galway. As usual, the event has attracted a very strong entry and a fabulous lineup of cars. The R5 class once again is the premier category in the championship, with World Rally cars no longer eligible to score points. And first through on the start ramp in Eyre Square, Gary Jennings, the number 1 seed, hoping to make it back-to-back wins in his Subaru Impreza.
Hello and welcome once again to another season in On The Limit Sports. The 2017 season kicks off here in Eyre Square. It's buzzing here tonight for the ceremonial start. Well, it's going to be a repeat victory you're looking for this weekend, Gary.
Yeah, we're definitely going to try. It's not going to be easy. It never is in Galway, and it's the first round of the championship, so yeah, looking forward to a great battle.
As Jennings rolls off the ramp, we get a glimpse of the Ford Fiesta World Rally car of Declan Boyle, the 2014 Tarmac champion, and the Fiesta of the 2016 national champion Roy White, before the first of the R5 Fiestas, driven by Alistair Fisher.
We're back again for more. We're hoping for a good start here in Galway. The stages are very tricky, but it's the same for everybody, so we're looking forward to getting stuck in.
As Fisher rolls away, a late entry and the definite championship contender in another R5 Fiesta is Dubliner Robert Barrable.
This year we're coming back to support the Tarmac Championship, so it's nice to be in Galway, but I think it's going to be very, very tricky if the weather stays the way it is. So I think it's just a matter of trying to keep your bib clean and hopefully get to the end and make no mistakes.
Barrable is a former Motorsport Ireland Young Racing Driver of the Year recipient, while next through was Monaghan's Josh Moffat, the current Young Rally Driver of the Year.
The last round finished off very good for us, so I don't know, Galway, it's always a tricky rally and very tricky conditions, so you never know. There's a lot of fast drivers out there, so hopefully it can go our way.
Josh will no doubt have his hands full trying to fend off his brother Sam in another R5.
I think we've got a great year ahead of us and it's going to be tight again. You know, it all went down 3 people into the last round of the championship last year, and hopefully it'll be the same again this year.
And no event is complete without a sponsor, and Breed spoke to Eugene Dalton, the CEO of Corraboyle.
Well, Eugene, sponsorship is vital for motorsport, but fantastic for you to be involved in this local event as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Second year, we had a very good year last year. It went off very well, and all the signs are, if the weather cooperates anyway, we're going to have a fantastic weekend again.
So looking to day one of this year's Galway International, there's 9 stages in all based in and around Athenry, which hosted service. It's a compact loop of stages with 1, 4 and 7 at a time. The runs over 2, 5 and 8 are at Ballyfa, while the competitors travel northwards for stages 3, 6 and 9 at Colemanstown. The 2016 event was bedevilled by heavy rain and flooding in places, and while the weather wasn't exactly at its best, it was much better than last year as we awaited the start of stage 1.
Well, here we are at the start of stage 1 at Timon. Gary Jennings just about to cross that start line. We had a heavy rainfall last night, which has left the stages very greasy and challenging for competitors this morning.
Over the first 3 stages, Jennings set the pace in his Impreza, despite noting that the opening stages were very treacherous and slippery. Jennings and co-driver Rory Kennedy tried no heroics due to the amount of mud on the stages, and after the opening loop, the 2013 Tarmac champion held a 16-second lead.
40, caution, 3 right continues and double tightens to 4 at the pole, tightens to 4 at the pole, then 3 left go, 60 fast square left now, and the 3 right continues after the bridge, 40, 4 left, middle over crest, and 2 right, braking 40, 5 right at the stones, repeat 5 right at the stones.
Second in the Fiesta World Rally car after the opening loop was Declan Boyle from Donegal, who beat Jennings into second place on an eventful 2014 Galway International. Boyle, however, wasn't happy with the handling of his car. Having been beaten to the 2016 title by Keith Cronin, Alistair Fisher was back looking to win the title, won 4 times by his late uncle Bertie Fisher. Alistair and co-driver Gordon Noble reported no problems running on cut slicks in the wet conditions, and they were third. Fisher also led the R5 Brigade, but only by 1.1 seconds from the Fiesta of Sam Moffat from Monaghan. Sam reported no problems and was happy with his opening gamut. Clonmel's Roy White was third in the WRC category and fifth overall in his Fiesta, with the experienced James O'Brien calling the notes, and was 34.1 seconds back from Jennings' lead after 3. Josh Moffat was sixth on the leaderboard and third in the R5 category, just shy of 7 seconds adrift of Fisher. Josh saying he couldn't fully commit due to the slippery nature of the stages.
Long late 4 right, into 4 left plus, easy, 2 left minus.
Johnny Greer slotted into 7th after 3 in the first of the Citroën DS3 machines. He was finding the pace of the Fiestas a little hard to contend with and was over 20 seconds back from Fisher's R5 lead. In another Citroën was Aaron McHale, who's made the switch from the S2000 Skoda Fabia. McHale found the Skoda difficult to drive and was hoping the switch to the DS3 would pay dividends. McHale, however, was down 14th after the opening 3 runs, having recovered from a spin.
Well, Aaron, we're dying to hear. How did you find that opening loop?
We found it hard to get grip in places, and we spun twice in that last one in the muddy section, so we lost a little bit of time, so we have to go back and try and work on the suspension.
Stephen Wright was holding 8th in his Ford Fiesta R5. Robert Barrable had a terrific scrap with Waterford's Craig Breen on the 2015 Circuit of Ireland. But he's taken a break from the sport, and the opening 3 tests proved to be tough in Galway. It took a while for the Dubliner to bed in, and he was 9th in the Fiesta after 3 tests.
140. 3 left, 3 right, 120.
Stalling at the start of the stage didn't help Joe McGonigal in the Skoda Fabia R5. McGonigal has also switched from the S2000 to an R5 car for the 2017 season and found the new car to be completely different. The Donegal driver, as a result, was 10th, nearly 2 minutes behind Jennings.
Joe, a really tricky opening loop.
Yeah, I've been struggling to get any kind of a good feeling of the car. I went with a cut slick and I don't really think it was a good idea, but, you know, learning the car as well, so I'm sure we'll go well the next loop.
Damien Turish, another of the Donegal contingent, was the leader in the national category after the opening loop of 3 stages in his Ford Escort, inheriting the lead after Ryan Loughran, who was leading after stage 2, crashed out his Escort on stage 3. Gary Kiernan incurred a 15-second road penalty in his Escort, which denied him the lead after the opening tests, and was 2 seconds adrift of Turish.
100, this tightens. 100, 1 right over crest, 450. Brake before the bump. It's your turn, square left.
Kevin Eves was a solid 3rd in the Nationals despite spinning his Corolla at a square left junction. A quick pirouette and the Donegal driver was back on the pace.
For 2 left plus, repeat, 2 left plus. 170. Stay middle here now on the 6 right, water on it, 350.
Yet another Donegal driver is Patrick McHugh in his Mark II Escort. He was 4th in the Nationals, 50.1 seconds behind the leader Turish. Eugene Megan had a time-consuming spin on the 3rd stage and also found the grip of his BMW not to his liking. The Meathman was 5th at this point. Not so fortunate was Liam Howlett. Thankfully he and co-driver John McGrath were okay after this big one.
Gary, it's mucky, greasy. I'm sure you're loving it.
Yeah, it's good. The first 2 stages aren't as bad. That one is just brutal. You can't drive at all. First, second, third, just up through the gears to get moving. It's bad, very. Be lucky to be here, like, you know, you'd slide off in a second.
Well, so many drivers happy to be exiting this loop.
I enjoyed it. First stage, another have a great run there. We come on the action, but no, them two was grand.
It's slippy now. It's kind of a lap through, trying to get through a few places, but
it's going to be a finisher's rally.
Yeah, no, but it's really enjoyable. It's good fun now, so we'll see how we go.
So we're up and running in Galway and 3 stages down, and Gary Jennings has a 16-second lead from the Ford Fiesta of Declan Boyle, with Alistair Fisher in 3rd, leading the R5 Brigade in his Ford Fiesta. And we're back with part 2 of the Galway International Rally after this short break. Welcome back, and we're at service in Athenry ahead of the second loop of stages on the 2017 Galway International. And while there, Breed caught up with Biladair of Adair Tyres, a new co-sponsor of the championship, with prizes in the offing for users of both Pirelli and Michelin tyres.
This rally could be won or lost on tyres, and I'm sure your advice really comes into play with the drivers.
Yeah, I suppose you do come under pressure like that at times, there's no doubt. But you still have to let the guys make up their own minds. That's the important part. Let them make the mistakes.
So it's back to the action, and on stages 4, 5 and 6 on day 1, and another clean run from the leader Gary Jennings in his Subaru Impreza. And with the stages beginning to dry out a little, the Fermanagh driver was able to put distance between himself and the rest of the field.
And the 2 left, stay left, and the 4 right continues over crest. And let's go 18, stay right, and the flat crest jump, 150. And stay right, flat 3 left max, brave, 100.
The Fiesta World Rally car of Declan Boyle, down on power in the opening stages, suffered a puncture in stage 5 and he lost 5 minutes, which dropped him down to 13th place in the international category. With Boyle's troubles continuing, Fisher jumped into 2nd and continues to lead the R5 category. His Fiesta actually fell to 5th overall on stage 4, but by stage 6 he was 2nd. The decision to run on cut slicks rather than intermediate tyres was paying dividends. Roy White was pushing hard in his Fiesta World Rally car. He was now 3rd overall, just 1.1 seconds off the 2nd place Fisher. Sam Moffat was 4th now and 2nd to Fisher in R5. Such was Fisher's pace, though the Monaghan man was perhaps looking to reverse his strategy, looking at a different tyre for the day's remaining 3 stages. Josh Moffat, like Boyle, suffered a stage 5 puncture. And as a result, Johnny Greer was 3rd in the R5s and 5th overall, 31 seconds off Sam Moffat. Another Monaghan driver, Stephen Wright, kicking up the dirt. Problems for others meant that he jumped up to 6th in the standings in his Killy Hevlin Ford Fiesta. After 21 months out of the sport, Rob Barrable was beginning to find his groove. He was now safely into the top 10, 7th now after 6 stages, just 6.3 seconds off Stephen Wright. 8th after the second loop, Joe McGonigal in his Skoda Fabia, much happier with his tyre choice, but 36.8 seconds behind Barrable's Fiesta. Brendan Comiskey was gradually becoming more accustomed to his new car, another Skoda Fabia R5, and he was 9th. Stephen McCann was 10th in his Fiesta S2000. The cabin driver and his Kerry navigator, Damien Fleming, were 22.5 seconds behind Comiskey's Fabia at the end of 6 tests. Josh Moffat reported that his puncture was caused by a rock in the middle of the road. Josh had a moment on stage 6 also that cost him a few seconds. He slipped from 6th overall to 11th on the rankings. The Welsh pairing, Thomas and Uric Davis, were lying 13th overall after 5 stages. But that was where the rally finished, as the Fiesta failed to appear for stage 6. Paul Roddy was home from the USA to compete in his Citroën DS3, and he and co-driver Patrick Bryans were recovering after an early off in his new car, and this is where it happened. Roddy was able to continue, while Kilkenny's Joe Connolly, also back from the USA, told us how tough the conditions were out on the stages.
I tell you what, it's been very, very greasy out there. Absolutely unbelievable. But we're here. Lunch has been served, so we're very happy with the fact that we haven't to mark on the car. Probably not going quick enough, but we're happy enough.
For Josh Moffat, thoughts of now winning in Galway must surely be gone after that stage 5 puncture, which cost him some 3 minutes.
Well, an unfortunate stage 5 for you.
Yeah, definitely. We picked up a flat wheel. I think we're Declan Boyle done the same. So, we've dropped about 3 minutes there. So, I suppose we'll just tip on and see what we can do.
Well, it's really been a disastrous morning so far.
I tell you, it's one of them days for us. But what can we do? The power was a problem, and then we got a puncture, and it seems to be off a cylinder or something. So we'll have to talk to Tom here now and see what we're going to do for the rest of the day.
While Declan decided to call it a day after the Fiesta dropped a cylinder, his son Michael was still going in his new left-hand drive Civic. William Crichton in his Peugeot 208 R2 continues to lead Class 2, and he and Belfast co-driver Liam Regan were a very respectable 14th in the standings. John Armstrong was pushing his M Sport Fiesta hard to try and catch the young driver from Finaghy, who was 19.5 seconds in arrears and 15th overall.
This is a working weekend for you, but I'm sure you're getting some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, it's going well so far. We've been asked by Amsport to debut their new car here, so it's going well. It's a new Cup car. I think it's a great car for what it is and price-wise, so we're really enjoying it and getting the best out of it.
Donegal's Marty Gallagher with Dean O'Sullivan on the notes were third in Class 2, having beached his Peugeot on the opening loop. He rejoined under Rally 2 rules. Gallagher is contesting the Irish, British and Scottish Championships this year. There's always a rally within a rally, and this year it was the Escort RS of Ernie Graham that led the historic category at the end of day 1. Graham had over 62 seconds to spare from the Mark II of Keith McIver. Third was Welsh driver Gareth Lloyd, a regular visitor to Ireland to compete in historic rallies. He was 37 seconds off McIver. Galway native Ross Ford is a former Motorsport Ireland Young Rally Driver of the Year. He was fourth in his RS 1800 despite suffering a puncture on the third loop. England's David Goose was fifth in the historics in his Ford Escort. Frank Cunningham is the defending historic champion, but he went off the road on the opening loop and rejoined under Rally 2 to get used to his new Group A BMW, which he told us about before the event.
There's a lot of buzz about this car, and there hasn't been an M3 on the Irish stages for quite some time. And now that the historic regulations have changed for cars up to 1990, we can actually use Group A cars, the first of the Group A cars. So we decided to do something different.
In the National Rally, Damien Tourish had a good day, and at the end of the opening 9 stages, the Donegal man had opened up a 24.6 second advantage. Second was the Escort of Gary Kernan. Could make little impression on the flying Tourish, but this was a nice save, as we go in car with Kernan and Keith Moriarty, who's calling the notes.
Right hand crest, only 40 down to a 4 left at wall. Only 40 here now, 4 left at wall. 120 through the dip. Long 2 right tightens.
Third in the modified at the end of day 1 was the Toyota Corolla of Kevin Eves.
Chicane, right entry, 4 wheels. 40, turn hairpin right, crosses. 40, 5 left. 40.
Patrick McHugh's Mark II was fourth. He was eyeing a modified podium place, sitting as he was, 6.3 seconds behind Eves. Behind McHugh was the Mitsubishi Evo of Tommy Cahill and Enda O'Leary. And then the two BMWs in tandem, both six-cylinder machines, both built by Eugene Megan, who was navigated in his new machine by local girl Sarah Whelan, while car number 20 contains her brothers, Richard and James, in Megan's previous model BMW. In the third loop of stages on the international category, Aaron McHale crashed out a Citroën, and that ended his involvement. Also out on stage 9 with tyre problems was another DS3, driven by Johnny Greer.
Yeah, basically we got a puncture on the previous stage, a front right puncture, which we changed on the road section, and basically about a mile up the road from here, but halfway through the stage there was a blind left-hander, and there'd been a rock pulled out probably from one of the previous cars, and it was right on the line, and I had it with a front left corner and front left puncher, so two punchers, only one spare, so it there was too long on the stage to go to drive on the puncher, so just had to call it a day.
The Galway Rally was starting to become a rally of attrition now, and next we see going off is Brendan Comiskey. Thankfully, from his point of view, there's plenty of spectators around to get him going again, and despite that off, he ended day one in 10th overall. Ahead of Comiskey, Stephen Wright's Fiesta, who ended the day 6th. Rob Barrable climbed through the field steadily throughout the day. He was 5th overnight, 10 seconds ahead of Wright. 4th went to Sam Moffat's Fiesta, 1 minute and 26 seconds down from the overall lead, but just over 30 seconds behind Alistair Fisher in the battle of the R5s. 3rd place fell to Roy White in his Fiesta World Rally car. His main aim was to settle the car as he looks to defend his national title this year. 2nd and leading the R5 category was the speeding Alistair Fisher, just 8.7 seconds ahead of White and 57.8 seconds behind Gary Jennings. A trouble-free run for Jennings in the World Rally car. It'll be interesting to see if the 2015 champion will make the switch to an R5 car this season and make another crack at the title. Jennings has been testing a Mitsubishi Mirage R5 on a frozen lake in Sweden prior to Galway, and he arrived back at Parc Ferme in total control.
A good enough cushion to go into day 2 with.
Yeah, it's a good cushion, but it's been very hard work to build up that cushion. Very, very difficult today. Narrow road, just a big car, a narrow road, but tomorrow is different. From what I can remember, they're a wider road, so yeah, should make it interesting tomorrow.
The rain had arrived on the road section back to Parc Ferme at Galway Racecourse as Breed caught up with the R5 contenders.
Tomorrow's going to be a continued challenge. Sam definitely isn't going to give up on your back.
Yeah, certainly not. We're well used to Sam now. He never holds back, and I think it's a bit of a race tomorrow as well.
It should be a more comfortable challenge tomorrow with 2 stages repeated 3 times.
Yeah, I'd say it should be. They're a lot faster stages. I just hope they don't cut up as bad as they did today, and we can get a good race on, and hopefully we can close that gap down for tomorrow.
Tomorrow's stages are going to be a lot cleaner and a lot nicer. I'll enjoy them more anyway, but no, we're happy enough. It's great to be back and in the fight with all the lads.
So at the end of day 1 of the Galway International Rally, it's Gary Jennings who leads. He's got a 57.8 second advantage over Alistair Fisher, with Roy White in 3rd place, 8.7 seconds behind Fisher's Fiesta.
So it's Gary Jennings that takes the overnight lead here in Galway, and he'll be looking for a repeat performance tomorrow in order to secure back-to-back wins here in Galway. But it's the Fermanagh man Alistair Fisher who heads up the leaderboard in the Clonakilty Black Pudding Irish Tarmac Championship. See you after the break for day 2.
Welcome back to the west of Ireland at the opening round of the Clonakilty Black Pudding Irish Tarmac Rally Championship. Icy conditions have replaced the opening day's rain, and Bree got a close-up view of the day's opening stages.
Welcome back to day 2 of the Galway International Rally. Well, organisers have a vital decision to make this morning due to this temperature drop and the obvious presence or not so obvious presence of black ice on these already challenging stages.
So let's recap where we stand at the end of day 1 and the 9 opening stages. The leader is the number 1 seed and the defending Galway winner, Gary Jennings, in his Subaru Impreza. The Shimano driver had a clean run on the opening day and he led the International Rally by 57.8 seconds. Second is Alistair Fisher in his R5 Fiesta. The Tarmac organisers decided last year that only R5 or S2000 cars can collect championship points. So while Jennings can actually win individual rounds, he cannot collect points. Thus, it's Fisher who would lead the series standings at this point. Third was Clonmel's Roy White in his Fiesta World Rally car, 8.7 seconds behind Fisher. White won't be contesting the full Tarmac season this year. He's using Galway to tune up his car for the one-day national series, of which he's the defending champion. But with the icy conditions, the drivers were concerned ahead of day 2.
You're going to go into these stages this morning. It's unknown. They're going to be treacherous.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, even in the car park here, there's a lot of black ice. Be an interesting call what we have to make now on tyres and also whether they're going to run these first 2 stages. I don't know. It's going to be very tricky.
Park for me is very slippy here this morning. All the cars were frosted, so we'll just have to see what happens in the first 2 stages. They might cancel them, but we've see how it goes.
It's going to be a challenging morning. Anything could happen. Still can't hang about, unfortunately. You know, everyone's going to be going as hard as they can. So, yeah, I'd say we're going to see some drama this morning.
Not deterred by the long commute from New York or the odd mishap, Paul Rowley clearly loves his rallying.
You've put in the air miles for the stage miles.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But it's still great to be here. It's the start of the year, and I know it was a tough day yesterday for us, but to get back in the swing of things today and get some seat time, it's just good to be here.
Sunday's 6 remaining stages are more compact than day 1, with stages 10, 12 and 14 due to be run at Belclare, while stages 11, 13 and 15 at Knockagher, with service in Tuam. However, with no thaw in the early morning ice, the organisers were forced to cancel the day's opening 2 stages.
Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately due to the weather conditions, the stage will not run.
Disappointment for many of the early morning spectators, some of who headed back to the warmth of their cars. For those who stayed, we finally got up and running on stage 12, Belclare, and Jennings, as leader, was first away. On stages 12 and 13, Jennings nudged even further ahead, eking out a lead of 1 minute and 2 seconds from Fisher on stage 12.
Right 80, fast 4 right line, 4 right, 60, flat left, 60, flat right, 100, 4 right at the trees, and 2 left.
Fisher and Roy White were joint second fastest on stage 12. And by the end of stage 13, White had cut the gap to 7.1 seconds. White was pushing for the runners-up slot. Sam Moffat was 2 seconds slower than Fisher on stage 12, which left the gap between the top 2 R5s at 31.3 seconds. A gap that was pretty much maintained with the run over stage 13. With 2 to go, Fisher was looking good to claim the championship points. Rob Barrable too had a good run and remained in 5th.
Narrow 5 left. Repeat, narrow 5 left into 5 right. 100 over bumps. Slowing 5 right, 40, 2 left.
Without really challenging, Stephen Wright remained in 6th. While Joe McGonigal had some tyre pressure issues with his Skoda, but he got them sorted and he stayed 7th overall and 4th in the R5 category. Josh Moffat had begun to climb his way back through the field after his opening day puncture. He was now 8th in the Fiesta, 13.1 seconds behind McGonigal with 2 tests remaining.
5 right plus 150. 5 right plus. Care, yeah, 150 care, 5 left minus into long, 4 right. 80. Slippy, 4 left fast. 80 again.
Stephen McCann and Damien Fleming were 9th after stage 13. while Brendan Comiskey was 10th, also on a good pace despite rearranging the bodywork of his new Skoda. In the race for Class 2 between William Crichton and John Armstrong, Crichton in his Peugeot was 9 seconds faster than Armstrong in the M Sport Fiesta on stage 12 and opened up the gap between the two-wheel drive pair to 1 minute and 11 seconds by the end of stage 13. Joe and Richard Connolly stood 13th on the overall standings with 2 tests to go in their Fiesta, while local man Andrew Burke was 14th in an R3 Citroen. Burke back from China to contest his home event.
Well, Andrew, you've put in a lot of mileage to be here this weekend.
We have from China, so it's been a bit of a trek across to come to the cold Galway.
Well, has the Galway International been worth it so far?
So far so good. We're still here, Breach, so what more can we say?
In the National Rally, Damien Tourish continued to hold the lead after stages 12 and 13 as the snow began to fall. Gary Kiernan reduced the gap to 19.5 seconds with a faster time to stage 12, and after 13 it was down to 12.3 seconds.
You've managed to tighten that gap slightly and you've got only 2 stages now to take that lead.
Yeah, we pulled 12 seconds off him there. I think he still has a 13 lead, so if we can do the same again, we'll not be far away, but we're just going to have to go max attack now for these two and try and stay on the road.
Mr. Kiernan's putting the pressure on now. Are you feeling it?
I'm feeling it now, yeah. I just half the lead there, so it's going to be interesting. I can't do much more. I'm flat out, so maybe leave the brake in a wee bit later and see how it goes. But no, Gary's driving. He's driving very well, and whoever gets it deserves it, doesn't he?
Kevin Eves in 3rd place in the National made a brave tyre choice, picking a slick dry weather tyre for his Millington engined Corolla. Kevin said it took a while for the tyres to warm up, but they were good towards stage end and should work well through stage 13. 4th in Nationals was Patrick McHugh's Mark II. 5th was Richard Whelan's BMW, 11.2 seconds ahead of Tommy Cahill and Enda O'Leary. With Eugene Megan 7th in another BMW 1M. It was also day 2 for the Historics, and the overnight leader was Ernie Graham.
A successful day 1, Ernie, but it's going to be difficult conditions today.
Yeah, yesterday was a really difficult day, to be honest. It was some places very, very slippery, and it was a matter of sometimes going flat out and then suddenly crawling for a little bit on some of the real gravelly, slippery bits. But we got round it, kept a good pace and kept ourselves clean.
Well, yourself and Ernie having a fantastic battle in the Historics.
Yeah, no, it's the same old as it was 2 years ago. We slid off yesterday, dropped a minute, but Ernie's just marginally in front of us. We're chipping away at him, but I don't know, we'll have a go today, but it's the gap is too big maybe, but we'll never say die.
Well, for PJ and Dennis, a local rally, but not so local for you this weekend, Dennis.
It's quite a long distance from China, but, you know, lovely to be here and back, because I live in Uachtarard, lovely to be back. PJ's a good driver, lovely to get the drive.
Well, has the rally been living up to expectations? I know when you plan something for so long, it could go either way.
We're pleased to be here this morning. Yesterday was awfully rough, and I'll get through today and we'll be chuffed, totally chuffed.
No problems for Graham and navigator Tim Sayer on the opening 2 stages on day 2 as they opened up a gap of 1 minute and 2 seconds on the field by the end of stage 12, and they added another 12 seconds on stage 13. MacIver had no response to the historic leaders, but he was now looking over his shoulder at the 3rd place driver, which was Welshman Gareth Lloyd, who cut the gap between himself and MacIver to a mere 5 seconds with 2 tests remaining. Ross Ford stayed 4th in his RS 1800, while Welshman David Goose was 5th in Historics in his Ford Escort. And as conditions worsened, we checked in on the junior drivers who ran only on day 2.
We just want to finish today, get some points on the board for the tarmac, but obviously when you're in the home stages it's been nice to get a good result as well, so we'll see how we go.
In fact, it was the Honda Civic of Cameron's John McCabe and co-driver Stephen Dugan who led the juniors opening 2 runs. Ryan slotted into 2nd, 38.9 seconds in arrears. 3rd was another Civic driven by Noel Murphy, 15 seconds behind Ryan. with Jenna McCann, the reigning national Class 2 champion, fourth in the juniors in her cheeky fiesta. Also through was the father and daughter crew, Joe and Leona Donoghue, leading Class 12 on their local rally.
Joe, you've got important people to impress this weekend.
Absolutely, yeah. Carboyle are the main sponsors, and they're sponsoring my car, so I have to promote Carboyle this weekend.
Leona, Joe's daughter, sitting in for the first time, so it's you going to be calling the shots today.
Yeah, I'm a bit nervous, but sure, we've done a lot of practice, so it's great.
And back at service and tune with 2 stages to go, we catch up with the overall leaders.
Almost there, Gary, 2 stages to go.
Yeah, that was 2 tricky stages. You know, everybody's in the same boat. A lot of black ice this morning, and we had to go in first car into them there. But yeah, we tiptoed through them very nicely. I think we're faster than the 2 boys behind us. So yeah, that's where we want to be. And a big gap now with 2 stages to go.
Okay, so it should be an enjoyable run to the finish, and you just need to remain composed now.
Yeah, hopefully. You know, bit of water out there, but I think we have everything covered in our notes, so hopefully we can get to the finish now.
Maintaining that position very well.
Yeah, maintaining. We took a little bit of time out of Alistair, but not enough. So we've a short stage and a long stage now. So we'll have a little bit of a go, see if we can get second.
Well, only 2 stages left, and it's going to be difficult enough to try and catch Alistair in these final 2.
Yeah, it's going to be hard now. I think it's going to be a survival finish and just get through the last 2 and see how it goes.
We're happy enough with the pace we have today. We've a bit of a gap back to Stephen, right? I think it might be 15 or 20 seconds. So we're kind of in no man's land. Sam's 2 minutes up the road, so it's kind of just a matter of damage imitation, just getting to the end. But as you say, it's a 3rd place, so it's just really important to start the championship.
So you just need a composed finish now, Stephen.
Yeah, I suppose so, although we're only 15 seconds behind Robert Barrowell, so it would be tempting to make a push for it, but at the same time, first rally of the year, it'd be nice to get some points on the board, but we'll see what conditions are like and take it from there.
2 stages to go then in the international category. It's Gary Jennings who leads by 1 minute and 3 seconds from Alistair Fisher. Roy White is still in 3rd, but he's closing the gap between himself and Fisher. It's now 7.1 seconds.
Very different conditions to what we saw here this morning. The sun has finally made an appearance, along with the thousands of spectators, which shows the popularity of this sport in the west of Ireland. Join us after the break for more action from the Carboyle Galway International Rally.
Welcome back to the Galway International Rally in the final 2 stages of this year's event. A beautiful, crisp winter's day for round 1 of the series. Here's Art McCarrick, the Motorsport Ireland Sports Development Officer, raising awareness for Give Blood, Give Platelets.
You're here again this weekend promoting it. So important.
Yeah, I suppose people only hear about it when there's a shortage, you know, so we're trying to make that a little bit more deliberate and focused, and we even have a text number there on the side of the car, text platelets to 53377, and make it a little bit easier to find out information and all the rest. So won't change your life, but it might change somebody else's. So that's what we're here to do.
6 right and over the crest. Narrows, all okay. 8 up, 8 forward. Keep it to 1. Keep it to 1. Keep it to 1.
Here to finish too.
Before we round up the overall winners, let's have a look at the individual class victors. Class 10, Declan Ford's Mark II Escort. Michael Boyle, son of Declan, had been pushing hard to win Class 11F, but retired after stage 12, so the winner was David Quigley in his Honda. Class 11R went to the Mark I Escort of Jason Tuttle. Class 12 to Joe and Leona Donoghue in their local rally. Class 13 winner, Paul McHugh's Integra. Class 15, Tommy Cahill's Evo. Class 20, James McSweeney in his Evo 9. And Class 22, he got it home all right. Art McCarrick and John McKay in their Civic. In the Historics, third place went to Keith McIver and David Burns, who slipped away from the runners-up slot on day 2. That went to Gareth Lloyd and David Byrne in the Mark II Escort. With Ernie Gray winning easily in his Escort ORS. 1.2 minutes was their overall advantage from Lloyd.
We're really pleased. Galway is always a very treacherous rally this time of the year with the slippery roads. It's a real challenge. It was really doing a forced rally, really, some of the first of it. But we built up a lead initially and were able to keep it to the end.
The juniors ran just 4 stages, and third in their Civic was Noel Murphy and John Burke. Justin Ryan slotted into second place after 2 stages and stayed there till the end. The winners, the Honda Civic of Cavan's John McCabe and co-driver Stephen Dugan.
Yeah, good result. Well, we came down to win it, so it worked out for us, so we're happy enough.
Moving to the national class, it was a top 6 finish for the BMW 1M of the Galway crew of Richard and James Whelan, who just missed out on a top 5 finish by 4 seconds. Ahead of the Whelans was the second BMW 1M machine, with Eugene Megan behind the wheel, delighted to get the car to the ramp after last year's non-finish. Patrick McHugh and Porrick O'Donnell finished 4th in the Nationals in the Mark II Ford Escort. Third in class after a consistent run in the difficult conditions were Kevin Eves and William Lynch in their Corolla. They seem to be enjoying themselves out there.
Slippy 250 and 5 right plus 60. Slow then Kevin, 5 right 2 left. Repeat. Yeah, 5 right 2 left. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, on your boy you have it. Gears. 40. 6 left 40. 5 right over finish. 5 right over finish, oh Titans. Holy
After a terrific battle over the 2 days, Damien Tourish had to be content with second place in the Escort as he was overhauled on the last 2 stages by Gary Kiernan. Kiernan felt the gap between himself and Tourish was too big, but that proved to be a bit of fake news as he hauled in Tourish and won in the end by a small margin despite a hairy moment in the last stage.
200 out. Long nose well, Gary, right? 200 out. Well done. Hug 3 left. Hug 3 left, shiny.
Well, you brought that battle to the wire.
Yeah, it was very tough now. We got Damien in the end by 1.5 seconds. It's probably the toughest conditions I have rallied in yet. Just over the moon. I was off the road once or twice in the last stage, but it was just a bit of luck on our side.
Showroom Group N category saw a second place finish for the Evo 9 of Fermanagh William Mavety. The winner though was Galway's Stephen Hernan, who put local knowledge to good use in his Impreza. Andrew Burke won the R3 class in his Citroën DS3. In the 2-wheel drive R2 class, third on the list was the Peugeot of Marty Gallagher. Gallagher will have a busy year this year in that car. Second, John Armstrong in a Fiesta. With the winner, the Peugeot 208 of William Crichton. And to the top 10 in the international standings, and after 2 demanding days in the West, 10th was the Skoda Fabia R5 of Brendan Comiskey. Stephen McCann was 9th in his Fiesta S2000. 8th, Joe McGonigal in his Skoda Fabia R5. Seventh, and pipping McGonigal by just over a second from the place, was Josh Moffat. It'll be interesting to see how many Irish rounds he contests, as his focus is on the European Series this year. Monaghan Stephen Wright brought his Fiesta home in 6th. Rob Barrable can be happy with his weekend after a long layoff, finishing 5th and 3rd in the R5s. Sam Moffat had to be content with 4th in the Fiesta and 2nd in R5. Alistair Fisher was beaten to 2nd overall by Roy White, but he claimed the maximum championship points in his Fiesta. White was delighted to have hauled in Fisher to take 2nd as he eyes the defence of the national title. But there was nothing to touch Gary Jennings and Rory Kennedy, winners in Galway for the 2nd successive year. The margin of victory over White, 59.7 seconds. And so back to the finish ramp at the Clayton Hotel, to the victor the spoils.
It must have been a nerve-wracking final loop. Did I hear that there was a rumour there may have been issues in the camp?
No. I worked very well. I haven't heard of any issues, but that could happen. But no, hey, we just lived through them. We lost a wee bit of time, but no, the gap was big enough. But I must say, congratulations to Crozier Motorsport and Robbie McGurk. The car never missed a bat all week. I know he had a pro drive over last week, doing a bit of work on the car, and I think really transformed it. And hopefully this is to many more wins this year now.
3rd overall, and the championship leader now, Alistair Fisher.
You dominated the top of the class all weekend, but it certainly was not an easy task.
Definitely wasn't. It was a very difficult event. First round of the championship. Extremely tricky conditions yesterday. This morning, okay, there was the frost, but then the roads are wet this afternoon. So all in all, a lot of challenging conditions, but we're very pleased with the result.
Next through, Sam Moffat's Fiesta.
Yeah, it's been a great day. To take 2nd out of Galway. Could have went anyway with the tricky conditions, but we got here in the end. 2nd place points going to West Cork will be great.
Rob Barrable, too happy with his weekend's work.
Well, I think, Robbie, you surprised yourself by this result this weekend.
Yeah, it's great to get points on the board after the first one. Okay, we didn't expect to finish in 3rd. Okay, we kind of inherited 3rd when Josh got the puncture yesterday, and it was just a matter of trying to keep it today, which seemed to be good to do. So we're happy enough. Cars in one piece, and as you say, we got good points on the board.
So the overall winners then of the Galway International Rally for 2017, Gary Jennings and Rory Kennedy, with an advantage of 59.7 seconds from Roy White in his 4th Fiesta. In the championship, there's now an extra point for a win, so it's Fisher on 17, 3 ahead of Sam Moffat, with Barrable 3rd ahead of the next round, the West Cork Rally. I'm John Kenny. Till the next time, bye for now.
Popular winners here in Galway. Well, that wraps up the opening round of the Clonakilty Black Pudding Irish Tarmac Championship. Gary Jennings got what he came for this weekend, and that's back-to-back wins here in Galway. But it's Alistair Fisher who bags maximum points in the championship, and we will head to West Cork for round 2. See you then.